You looked around the home you love, and then you looked around at the life you're living in it. And somewhere, in some way, something clicked. Not dramatically, more like a subtle recognition. Your physical house and the life you're living outside the house aren't working as a team anymore. The home you love to live in and the life you want to live, they've drifted apart. And now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You need a change. I want to say something before we go any further. Needing a change doesn't mean that you're accepting defeat or giving up your independence. It doesn't mean that you're handing control of your life over to anyone else. It might just mean that the home you've been living in isn't the right home for your next chapter. Aging in place doesn't have to mean staying in place, but it does mean living independently on your own terms in a setting that can actually support the life you want to be living while you age. And there are more ways to do that in New Hampshire than most people realize. Today, we're laying them out as a real menu of choices worth understanding. If you've landed here, there's a good chance you're carrying something heavy. Maybe it's a decision you've been putting off. Maybe it's a conversation you're not sure how to start. Maybe it's just a quiet feeling that something needs to change. And you haven't found anyone yet who really gets what that feels like. I see you, and I'm glad you're here. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. I'm Hannah. I'm a New Hampshire realtor who specializes in housing transitions for older adults and the families who love them. Before I was a realtor, I spent 2 years as a caregiver for seniors aging at home, which means that when I talk about this stuff, I'm not trying to sell you something that you don't want. I've sat on couches listening to the stories. I know what's actually going on. This channel is here because I believe you deserve real information, offered respectfully, no pressure, no jargon, no one talking down to you about your own life. You are perfectly capable of making good decisions for yourself. You wouldn't have made it this far in life if you weren't so capable. Sometimes you just need someone different to have your back, someone who believes in you. That's what I'm here for. I have 2 other videos that connect directly to what we're covering today. One is on downsizing, which is a word that people hear very differently, depending on where they are emotionally. That video is about unpacking what the word does not mean and all the different things that it can mean. The other video is about the full landscape of senior housing options that I honestly didn't know existed until I studied to become a seniors real estate specialist. Both are linked above and in the description. If anything we cover today sparks a question, those are good places to go deeper. Okay, let's get into it. Everything we're covering today is oriented around one idea: aging in place. Not aging in place as in staying in your exact current home no matter what, but aging in place in the broader sense. Living independently on your own terms in a setting that supports who you are and how you want to live, without handing control of your daily life over to anyone else. That's the through line for every option we're going to talk about. Some of them involve staying exactly where you are. Some involve moving to a different home. Some involve moving to a community designed specifically around independent living. All of them are legitimate. All of them work for different people at different moments. None of them are a step down from where you are. The first option isn't to move at all. It's staying exactly where you are, but adding support that makes that sustainable. This looks different for different people. For some, it's a caregiver from Age at Home or Visiting Angels. I'm not affiliated with them. Their caregivers can come over for a few hours a week to help with things that have started to feel like too much. For others, it's a meal delivery service like Meals on Wheels if you're over 60 and struggle to cook for yourself, or a subscription service that ships packaged meals For others, a handyman on retainer for routine maintenance, a weekly housekeeper to keep up with the cleaning and laundry, a neighborhood teen to rake the yard in the fall and shovel your walkway on a snow day, or a grandkid to show you how to download and use Instacart so you can order groceries. Just kidding. I'm sure you can figure that out by yourself. And for other people, a medical alert device makes living alone feel safer and more comfortable. But for all, making modifications to the home first will help you decide what additional help you actually need. Here's my video about easy modifications you can make in the near future. In New Hampshire, there are local resources for this. ServiceLink can help connect you with services specifically for your situation and your county. They're a good first call if you're not sure where to start. Granite State Independent Living is another, focused specifically on helping people maintain independence at home. And many towns have local senior centers that coordinate volunteer support, transportation, and wellness programs that most people don't discover until they really need them. Staying put with more support works best when your home is a good fit and your community is still intact. The second option is selling your house and moving to a home that fits your life better right now. Smaller, simpler, less maintenance, maybe closer to family or closer to services or into a town with more walkability and community built in. This is where my downsizing video, it's actually not linked up there. It was linked before and it's in the description. It's worth watching if you haven't yet because the word carries a lot of emotional weight. What I'll say here is this. A well-chosen smaller home in the right location can solve several of the problems we identified in the Life Fit assessment. Transportation access, proximity to community, reduced maintenance, better positioning for the future. It's not a step backward. For a lot of people, it's the decision that gave them their life back. Here's the third option. This is where things get interesting and where I think a lot of people are working with an outdated idea of what it could look like. 55 plus communities. In New Hampshire, they are not all the same. They range from small wooded neighborhoods to active, amenity-rich developments, and the settings, cultures, and price points are very different from one another. Here are two worth knowing about that I am not affiliated with whatsoever. Kelsey Brook in Northwood is a newer 62 plus community. Energy efficient, single level homes with attached garages, low HOA fees, and a peaceful setting between Concord and Portsmouth. It's designed around simplicity and low maintenance without sacrificing quality. And also Pine Mill Village, situated across the Chester and Sandown line in southern New Hampshire, is a smaller, quieter community of detached homes on wooded lots. Lawn care, snow removal, and trash are all covered in the monthly land lease. What these and other communities share is this. They're designed so that the logistics of daily life, the maintenance and the snow and the yard, stop being things that run your life, which means your energy goes toward actually living your life. And then there's option 4, a category that deserves its own conversation, the Continuing Care Retirement Community, or CCRC. Sometimes called a life plan community, a CCRC is different from a 55-plus neighborhood in one fundamental way. It offers a full continuum of care on a single campus. You move in as an active, independent person, and you don't have to move again as your needs change over time. For the purposes of this video, I want to focus on the independent living side of CCRCs because that's where most people enter. It's also the part that many people ignore because they want to age in place and don't feel like a CCRC can truly accommodate that. Riverwoods Exeter is one of the strongest examples in New Hampshire. It's a not-for-profit CCRC on the seacoast with 3 distinct neighborhoods on the same campus: the Woods, the Ridge, and the Boulders. It has been serving older adults in the region for over 30 years. Kendall at Hanover is the other name that comes up consistently, a Quaker-founded community in the Upper Valley with a strong reputation for both the quality of its care and the depth of its community culture. It draws heavily from the Dartmouth area and tends to attract people who want intellectual engagement, meaningful connection, and the security of knowing their future is planned for. Both of these are significant financial commitments. I want to be honest about that. For people who want the freedom of independent living without the background worry of what happens if things change, a CCRC can be one of the most liberating decisions available. The most important thing I can tell you about CCRCs: explore them earlier than you think you need to. Waitlists are real, financial planning takes time, and the best decisions at this level are made from a position of choice, not urgency. Every option we talked about is built around the same thing: your independence, your ability to live on your own terms in a setting that supports who you are without handing control of your daily life over to someone else. What's different about each one is the trade-offs. Staying put with more support preserves familiarity, but requires your current home and community to still be working for you. Downsizing gives you simplicity and better positioning, but asks you to let go of a home that may carry a lot of meaning. A 55-plus community trades some independence for connection and freedom from maintenance. A CCRC asks for a larger financial and logistical commitment up front, and in return gives you the deepest security available. None of these is the right answer. There is no one-size-fits-all for aging in place. There is only the answer that fits your life, your finances, your health, your values, your relationships, your sense of who you are, and how you want to spend your time. What I've seen in this work is that the people who land well are almost always the ones who gave themselves permission to look at all of this clearly, without judging in advance about which options were for them and which ones weren't, based on what they've heard from friends or on the news. Your job is to figure out which conversation is actually yours to have with yourself or with your loved ones. And if you want help figuring that out, that's exactly what I'm here for. My number is 603-573-6969, and you can reach out anytime. And all the links from today, the downsizing video, the service link, Granite State Independent Living, all the other communities that we mentioned, they're all in the description below. Now, we've talked about what the options are, but for a lot of people, the real question underneath all of this is whether they have what it takes to actually age independently. What does it take? What do you need to be able to do? What do you need to be filling your days with? That's what the next video is about. Because for a lot of people, it's not an issue of whether the home works, it's an issue of whether they're willing to do the work to make the home work. I'll see you there. Oh, I have that backwards? And, oh my gosh. That's not good. That's not good. That's so bad. Mental health. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning.